guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. And today is going to be a cool little video. I'm going to give you my, as of January 2nd, NBA All-Star voting, where the 10 guys that I'm voting for. So I've got NBA.com pulled up. I'm going to tell you who I've got and why. Some of these are no-brainers, and some of these are really tough. So we're going to compare them on basketballreference.com. We're going to look at PER a little bit. We're going to talk about, the pros and cons of each one of these players and sort of make that decision. So without any delay, first let me take you over to, there's two ways to vote on NBA.com. And or on the NBA app. You can vote either way. Voting's open. It opened on December 20th. It is open until January 21st. So we got about 19 more days that we can vote. Now, here's the thing that I think is really freaking stupid. You can vote every single day. Why? That makes no sense at all. It seems like you should cast your vote and your vote is your vote. I don't know why it would reward these jacklegs who would sit in front of their computer and care so much that they would vote every single day. Those are the types of people that are going to if they're Bucks fans, they're going to vote Giannis, Drew Holiday, Pat Connaughton, Brooke Lopez, and Grayson Allen on the All-Star team, right? Anybody who's either idle enough or bonkers enough to sit in front of their computer and vote every single day for an NBA All-Star player strikes me as a weirdo. If that offends somebody and I lose subscribers, I'm sorry, but that's weird. I think you should just vote once. You should have an ID, you vote, and that's what you get. I mean, we can't vote for president, every single day. But anyway, that being said, there's also these triple vote days where your votes count for triple, which is even dumber. That makes even less sense. I guess they're trying to drive traffic to the website. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I'm sure that's got to be it. They're trying to drive traffic to NBA.com or the NBA app. But these are 6 days where your vote counts as 3. And then, of course, you're entered in to win some kind of sweepstakes. So they're just pushing the sheep into NBA.com. But more about voting. It's 2 backcourt players and 3 frontcourt players. So no centers or forwards or anything like that. It's just backcourt, frontcourt. That's what you get. So now that we know how to vote, let's go back and let's vote. So here, as you can see, I've got NBA.com pulled up, NBA All-Star voting. Let's start with the West backcourt, okay? This was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Obviously, we know I'm going to go ahead and look. When you pull it up, you can search for your players. You can vote for anybody. They've got them sort of sorted for you to help out. You could sort them alphabetically if you want to vote for Ochai Agbaji, who's averaging 2, 0, and 1. But you can sort by points, which is probably the default that comes up. So most people are going to click the first 2 they see. That's a big bonus here for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You can sort by assists. Believe it or not, Chris Paul's leading the West in assists. That's odd, and he's only got 9. Nobody in double figures in assists in the West is odd. You can sort by rebounds, which is Doncic, not surprising there. And then you can sort by fantasy points, which is probably, honestly, I know this is going to sound weird because fantasy basketball is not real basketball, but fantasy points is probably a better indicator of who deserves to be on an all-star team, or at least who's performed better statistically than points is, because it kind of weights it across a bunch of different categories. But we'll leave it sorted by points. Actually, we'll use fantasy points. The first vote is quite simple. It is obviously going to be Luka Doncic, and it is not even a question. So Doncic gets my first vote. And then after that, it gets really tough. And here's who I'm choosing between. I'm choosing between John Morant, Steph Curry, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The next 3 that are listed up here in fantasy points. No slight to Lillard. He's missed a few games. He's got great numbers. No slight to Booker. He's just going to end up missing too many games. Anthony Edwards not quite there yet, and his team's not performing. De'Aaron Fox made a great push, but he's shooting 39% from the field. I can't vote for that. McCollum has been terrible. Kevin Porter Jr., it warms my heart to see KPJ on this list. He's averaging 20, 5.8, and 5.5. Again, he must be right-handed because he's shooting 36% from the field left-handed. So that's not great. And then my other prospect, my super prospect, Anthony Simons, is down here as well. So, but really it comes down to SGA, Steph, and John Morant. And I went with Morant. And I think I did a comparison here. I didn't use SGA because his team just sucks. And so, it's going to be that empty stat argument. I think SGA's stats across the board are probably better than Morant and Curry. But if we pull up Curry and Morant, and this is what I've narrowed it down to, and we look at it, Steph's already he's played 5 fewer games, and he's going to miss probably every game until the All-Star game. So he's just not going to have enough games But let's say they did have equal games. It would be tough, and let me show you why. Steph's at 30 to 27 on points, going backwards. On blocks over here, the same. Steals, exact same. Morant's averaging one more assist. Steph's actually out-rebounding Morant, which really struck me as odd. Steph actually plays 2 more minutes per game than Morant, which is odd as well. Of course, Steph is unparalleled from the free throw line, one of the greatest to ever do it. And his effective field goal percentage blows Morant out of the water. What this really comes down to is games. And you know, Ja Morant's team is significantly better, so it's going to come down to, as you can see, team success in the West. Where's Morant? They're in, they're one back of the Nuggets, and then, here's Golden State down here in 9th, barely over 500, and horrible on the road. So that is my second vote. I'm going to go with Ja Morant there. I guess I need to review picks. Okay, good. All right, now let's talk about the front court. So I got Doncic and Morant in my back court. Let's talk about the front court. Vote for Jokic, not even close, not an argument, no comparison, no chance whatsoever. Anthony Davis is going to end up missing too many games. I don't even have him pulled up. I would also just not vote for Anthony Davis just because I'm not a big Anthony Davis fan. But even being objective, I think this comes down to, and I know you're going to think I'm crazy, LeBron, Zion, and Sabonis. Yes, Domantas Sabonis. And I think I'm going to shock the world here. I'm going to go with Sabonis, who's averaging almost 19, 6.6 assists, and 12.4 rebounds. Sabonis is averaging the same number of assists as LeBron, and he's averaging almost twice as many rebounds as Zion. And he's shooting 45% from the field. Zion's shooting 42% from the field. So I'm definitely going to go with Sabonis. And then I've got to choose between LeBron and Zion. And so over here on the Basketball Reference comparison, let's look at these guys. They've each played 28 games, so nothing there can separate them. LeBron takes a lot more shots. Zion's field goal percentage is 10% higher, which is a pretty big number. He's actually shooting better from 3 than LeBron, although he's only taking like 19 or 20 threes. Effective field goal percentage gets a little closer because so many of LeBron's shots are from three-point range. That increases your effective field goal percentage in comparison to Zion, who never takes threes. LeBron is actually a better free throw shooter than somebody in the NBA at 75%. LeBron, more rebounds, significantly more assists, the same steals, the same blocks, and then more points. Even though Zion's team is vastly outperforming the Lakers, I'm still going with LeBron here. One last time, LeBron gets the nod here, so I'm going to vote for LeBron. This is something that I could be swayed, and maybe the next 5 or 6 games that we have before voting closes, 6, 7, 8 games, maybe that'll change it. But today, I would vote for LeBron and Jokic clearly, and Sabonis. So there's my votes there. Now let's talk about the East. So there's my West squad right there. It's Doncic, Morant, Sabonis, James, and Jokic. Over in the East, what would I do? In the backcourt, I've got it sorted by fantasy points. I am going with Donovan Mitchell as a no-brainer. He's averaging 28 points a game, 4.6 rebounds, 3.8 assists. He's not shooting it great, but he's the best player on a team that's right there knocking on the door. As you can see, Cleveland's 3 out of first, and he's leading a bunch of young bucks, not bucks, but young studs towards the playoffs and into that elite top 4-5 in the East. So Mitchell's definitely getting my vote. He, to me, just stands out. Then after that, it's tough because I've got Jaylen Brown and Kyrie Irving. I'm not giving the nod to Halliburton. I just think Jaylen and Kyrie have been a notch above Halliburton. But Halliburton's certainly in the conversation. Trey's got eye-popping points and assist numbers, but his team's underachieving. LaMelo hadn't played enough games. Harden hadn't played enough games. So this comes down to Jaylen Brown versus Kyrie Irving. I've actually got them pulled up too here. And so this is what's interesting. If I'd have asked you who has more blocks, Kyrie Irving or Jaylen Brown, you'd be like, well, Jaylen Brown's a defensive stud, and he's like 6'7", and can, he's got pogo sticks. Well, guess what? Kyrie Irving averages twice as many blocks per game as Jaylen Brown. I found that extremely fascinating. But Kyrie's just behind Jaylen in points scored. Jaylen turns it over a little bit more despite having the ball less. He averages more steals than Kyrie, more rebounds than Kyrie. Free throw percentage, Kyrie, again, is on that Steph Curry level, although Jaylen Brown's no slouch, shooting over 80% from the line and shooting more free throws. Effective field goal percentage is pretty close to a wash. 3-point percentage, Kyrie has the advantage, taking a few more. Jalen plays about a minute less per game. Kyrie's behind on games. Look, I'm taking Jaylen Brown over Kyrie, and I'm checking my notes here. Jaylen Brown's defense is better despite the weird anomaly on the blocks. Jaylen averages more steals, so that kind of washes out. But we know Jaylen Brown guards the other team's best player, and they try to hide Kyrie, who gets exploited on defense. Jalen's played 9 more games, and then Kyrie's a weirdo. And so I once got a comment saying, I can't believe you called Kyrie a weirdo. I'm never going to watch your channel again. And I'm like, dude, I call it like I see it. The dude's a weirdo. I don't care if you're his cousin. The dude's a weirdo. I don't know how else to say it. And then lastly, the Celtics are 1.5 over the Nets. If you needed another tiebreaker, whatever. But that would be my vote today. So I would go Donovan Mitchell unquestionably. And then Jalen would get my pick as the other backcourt mate. What about the front court in the East? A couple of them are no-brainers. Giannis and Tatum are in, okay? They are. Giannis has been on a tear lately, despite the fact that the narrative about his free throw shooting is ridiculous, but he went 40-20 in back-to-back games. He has missed some games with that knee soreness, but he's played enough to where he's going to be in my NBA All-Star starting lineup. Tatum is the front runner for the MVP, so he's clearly in, which leaves us with a miserable choice for who our third front court spot goes to. It's between Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, and honestly, Pascal Siakam deserves some consideration, but lack of team success boots him. And so we've basically come down to Durant and Embiid, and this sucks, man. This is just really tough to do. I think I did the comparison. I did. Embiid is 8 games less than Durant. But field goal percentage, Durant's actually higher. Effective field goal percentage, Durant is higher, significantly higher. 3-point percentage, Durant is higher. Free throw percentage, Durant's better than even Curry and Irving that we looked at. Curry and Kyrie even trail Durant with a 93% free throw shooting. And that being said, Embiid shooting 85% for a 7-footer on almost 12 attempts a game. So that's filthy. Let's be clear. Embiid's leading the league in scoring. That's really the issue. He's leading the East in scoring at 33.2 per game. He blocks the shot, blocks more than Durant. He steals more than Durant. They assist about the same, and Embiid rebounds significantly more than Durant. This is tough. It's literally a coin toss. There's a bunch of things that cut both ways. If we go look at PER, Embiid is 4th, Durant is 6th, so no blood there. It's just impossible to pick between these two guys. Right now, the Nets are a little bit ahead. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers. The difference is Durant's had a full squad for the most part. Joe Harris been out. Seth Curry's been out a little bit. TJ Warren's just now coming back. But Kyrie's been there. Ben Simmons has been there. Embiid's had to do this with no Harden here and there, and then really missing Maxey for quite a long time. So for them to keep pace and stay in the conversation, they just got off like a 9 or 10 game winning streak. Right now, I would give the edge to Embiid, but it is razor thin. I could be persuaded to go either way. Let me know what you think between Embiid and KD, but I'm going to give this third front court vote to Embiid right there, and I'm going to go to review picks. I'm going to hit review and submit, and then I've got to sign in with your NBA ID. I didn't even know I had one of these. Hopefully that password works. I'm going to click it, and there's my picks. That's it. That's what you see on the screen. Doncic and Morant. The no-brainers here, to me, are Doncic, Jokic, Antetokounmpo, and Tatum. And then after that, an argument can be made for any of these guys. And again, we got 3 weeks left until voting closes, so it could certainly change. But I just wanted to kind of take you guys through my thought process of how I would select my all-star team, and that's kind of it in a nutshell in about a 15-minute period. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you would vote for your all-stars in each conference. This is kind of fun. Again, I'm going to vote once, I voted once. I'll probably vote one more time towards the end and do another video and see if my selections changed. So keep tabs with who I chose today on January 2nd. We'll revisit this. I think it said January 19th or 21st or something. January 21st is when voting closes. I'll vote again, and we'll do another video like 2.0 and see what happens, see if anything changes. But and we'll compare. Maybe somebody gets hurt. Maybe somebody misses more games. I don't know. Or maybe somebody's team wins the next 9 games in a row and they really separate. Maybe Durant ends up with a 20-game winning streak instead of the 11-game winning streak that the Nets are on right now, and then he supplants plants Embiid as that third front court in the East. But I want to know who your 5 are in each conference, and if there were glaring oversights, let me know. Again, Halliburton could be included. Trae Young could be included. Steph Curry certainly deserves, some consideration, although he might miss the next 7 or 8 games, which kind of eliminates him. I didn't consider Anthony Davis because he's not going to end up having enough games. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, hit the like button if you like my videos. Please, it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. I'm begging you, please hit the like button. It really does help grow the channel so I can get filthy rich and buy an island. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.